people of the internet! Yo, what's going on in the sport of boxing? I'm confused. The sport of boxing apparently seems to be no different than WWE wrestling, at least as of late. Of course, I've always been a fan of boxing when I was younger. I remember watching epic Mike Tyson fights with my dad. So I'm a fan of boxing since a child. So I feel like I'm a tier above a casual watcher. Been getting into a lot more boxing as of late over the past few years with the cases. So as of late, there's been a new trend of exhibition matches. I wouldn't necessarily call it new. Of course, this has been something that's been happening for some time, I guess you could say. But it's been popularized as of late. Latest news now seems to be true and confirmed. At first, I thought it was a joke, but apparently this is real. That Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather have both signed the paperwork to fight in spring of 2026. Tyson Mayweather set for exhibition bout. Date, location, TBD. At first, I thought this was fake news. I thought it was jokes. But no, folks, this is real. And I feel away, man. What is the sport of boxing coming to? I think Floyd, in response to this, because, of course, a lot of people, that I came across as well, too, I in particular, feel away, and I feel like it's whack. I already felt away when we watched Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, and I promised myself I would never watch Mike Tyson fight in a boxing ring again. In fact, I think I even actually tweeted it. Pretty sure I tweeted it. Said something along the lines of, slap me if you see me watch another Mike Tyson fight in the ring, whatever the case is, when he took on Jake Paul, because Mike Tyson is how old again? 60-something? Mike Tyson is 59, I'm sorry. June 30th, 1966, Mike Tyson is 59 years old. We know what he was in his prime. Nobody's denying that. Mike Tyson was a beast, an animal in his prime. Long left the ring. He's put up his boxing gloves, but when he did it the first time, and he took on Jake Paul, I felt bad for watching. Afterward. It seemed like elderly abuse. People will rebuttal and say, man, it's the sport of boxing. It's entertaining. It's entertainment. And I would agree to you. Yeah, I guess all these sports fall under entertainment. But my question is this. When do we stray away? What does it mean for the sport of boxing when the legitimacy and people that put in blood, sweat, and tears and, put in their all, whatever the case is legacy and integrity? Those are the things that I feel like are in question when we see such fights as Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. We see such fights as Mike Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather. Like, what are we talking about here? And of course, the other one is, of course, in relation to this as well too. Of course, we also know about another fight that's set to happen. I think this November of this year, the great Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, who some would argue is still have lots of gas in his tank, right? Gervonta Tank Davis still has enough gas in his tank to keep it going and fight legitimate boxers. But Jake Paul and Tank Davis also be fighting, of course, two separate boxers in two different weight classes, are also set to fight later on in Atlanta this year. Jake Paul set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis November 15th in Atlanta. Now, this one, of course, I felt the way more so in particular. Now, the fight between Floyd and Mike Tyson, that one is, I don't think I'll be watching it. I'm a man of my word. I did say it was buffoonery the first time he did it. A lot of this stuff I think is scripted as well too. There has to be some type of stipulation that says that Jake Paul couldn't knock Mike Tyson out. He is an old man. Mike Tyson he's Mike Tyson, but he's a 60-year-old Mike Tyson, right? Strength, power, agility. We saw all of that within that fight. It just wasn't there, right? Speed, it just wasn't there. So I'm pretty sure somewhere in the paperwork it was said that Jake Paul couldn't knock Mike Tyson out. Whatever the case is, it was a friendly, aggressive box or whatever the case, and keep it pushing. Secure their millions of dollars and keep it pushing. This fight in particular, this whole Jake Paul and Tank Davis, this one kind of blew me a little bit because, one, it just doesn't make any sense. Weight class, right? We know boxing is for weight class, so if you're 150, the 150 fights versus 150, I think Jake Paul's like, what? 1 something Tank is like 135, 140. So it's a heavyweight versus a lightweight. Anybody that knows boxing knows that can't be. And on top of the fact that, yeah, of course, Tank, of course, this is an exhibition match as well, too, so it won't go against his record. And it is just a money grab. But even still, like, what is the point of this fight? Entertainment? Is this entertaining? I don't know. This fight I might watch. Maybe. But I ain't watching the Mike Tyson show. I'm not doing it, bro. And honestly, I the same way I hope that it didn't happen, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope by spring of 2026, the light bulb comes on and says this fight should not be happening. But hey, I said this a lot of times as well too. This country is all about entertainment. Dollars, money. America thrives off entertainment. Anything for the dollar, bro. But not when it comes to compromising your integrity and your morals. People will say, nah, man, secure the bag, bro. You know how much he's getting for the fight? Tank, again, still has enough gas in his tank to fight worthy boxers. There's a long list of boxers. There's a lot of fights that I would love to see over this. I would love to see Tank versus, even a Ryan Garcia rematch. Tank versus Devin Haney. Tank versus Teofimo. Tank versus, what's the other guy's name? Shakur. Like, Tank versus, again, rematch against Lamont Roach. I feel like there's a lot of fights that Tank could have taken on, but his heart just ain't in it. And again, I pose the question, what does this mean for the sport of boxing if retired boxers and ready and willing boxers are all in it just for the money? What happens to the integrity of the sport? Do we just not care about that anymore? What does that mean? Of course, Floyd Mayweather, of course, going back to that fight, Floyd versus Tyson, that's just a money grab. That's solely for the money. Some will call it entertaining. I don't see how entertaining that could be. For me personally, it's a money grab. Cool. But this Tank and other fight, I don't know, bro. I'm not really seeing why that should be. But I question, folks, what does this mean for the sport of boxing? Those of us who are boxing fans, who love the sport, who love the game, who are fans of these people, does it tarnish their legacy in any means, do you think? I personally think it depends what you're in it for, honestly. I am looking forward to the Canelo and Terrence Crawford fight. Of course, that's actually happening this week, and I am looking forward to that fight. Folks. I do think that fight is going to be interesting. That's still a fight that, boxing fans, the ones that appreciate boxing, we can look forward to that. So that is a legitimate fight taking place. Canelo versus Crawford. I think that's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to that. But these other fights, man, is gimmicky. It's the circus. The circus is indeed coming to town, as I like to say. It's gimmicky. I think it tarnishes and waters down the sport of boxing, the authenticity and integrity of the sport of boxing. If we're chalking it all up into the category of entertainment, then hey, do what y'all got to do. But hey, again, at the end of it, on the flip side of that, I'm not opposed to anybody securing the bag, as they say. Get your bag, get your money. You got kids, you got family, you got everybody has their why as to why they do things. Get your bag, get your money, man. Do what you got to do. But I just not really here for the boxing WWE-esque scripted for money and view. I'm not really here for that style of boxing. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. Nonetheless, of course, those are my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear yours down in the comment section below. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you guys on the next one.